Little man's here. So yeah, go on though. What you were talking about the freeing feeling of the debt and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in my early 20s, I mean, I think I was like 22 years old, and I got my first like, you've been pre-approved for a credit card offer. And it's like,
The
so
classic.
it's like, I have no credit. I'm like 22 years old. I get a platinum card with like a $6,000 limit, something that I didn't need. And
Hey,
it's
that's
like
more than my credit limit. I just got approved for
Right.
7,200.
and,
Right. So much money.
Mine
and
was mine was 500 from Chase like last year. It's bumped up a little bit, but it was
yeah.
crazy.
And I remember at one point, I had no business with that, and I maxed it out,
Hmm.
and I couldn't pay it. And I mean, for the longest time I was like, oh, this isn't gonna, I can just forget about this, and it, you know, I'll never have to worry about
Yeah,
it. And it's like, it's not the case.
it stays there.
It's certainly not, and that's the thing is, like, I've seen so many people like, oh, if you just wait 7 years, this stuff will fall off your credit. And, if they're not trying to collect on it, then, your credit score will go up. And it's like, there's so much just BS,
So
behind
much
that.
garbage out there. What made that? What was that click though that you feel as if like finally at this time it finally like, I need to do this.
I,
I
so,
think it's him.
so
We have our
part,
answer.
so, I mean, knowing that we were going to be parents, for us, it's like, okay, it's one thing when Jess and I are like, okay, we have to take care of ourselves. But when you have somebody else
Mhm.
that doesn't have a voice, that relies purely on
Yeah, he
you,
has no choice in the matter. Like,
yeah,
he
he
doesn't
doesn't.
get to decide.
Yeah, whereas if I decide to go blow an entire paycheck on something stupid, I'm the one who has to live with that,
Mhm.
Whereas he doesn't, if I go blow a paycheck and can't afford groceries, I mean, and he can't eat, then I mean,
Then you add in that compounding factor behind it. It's like, oh, if we choose to go blow money this month, that could impact his college. That could impact his choices that he gets to make later on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
It starts to impact more people than you, and that's what I think. A lot of times, that's where it clicks. I
it,
always hope like it clicks be almost like earlier, so that you get to the point where you're like at that stage. But like for a lot of people, that's what happens.
I I think part of it.
we've had that thought too of
I,
like, I wish we would have known this.
well, yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I think between really about 24 through 28 is when I did the most maturing as a person, where I was less concerned about trying to be this person that I thought other people wanted me to be, and
Mhm.
started focusing a little bit more on, okay, I should think about a career. I want to get out of an apartment. I want to stop driving a beat up truck that's, breaking down all the time. Um, and it's just, your focus just slowly shifts, and it's like, okay, I've got a decent paying job, and it's like, before you know, it's like, wow, I've been at this job for 8 years. I really love it. It pays me well. I've advanced, that sort of thing. And it's like, things slowly kind of start coming around. And um really, the finance aspect is, kind of like I said, you don't know what you don't know until you don't know it.
Mhm.
And
I mean, you guys wiped out debt. I mean, that was a huge piece of it. You're now planning on buying the car. You're going to be investing. I mean,
I
it's
don't
crazy the
I
adjustments.
I I don't want to be working for my money the rest of my life. I want to get to a point, and I can't wait. I don't have a number on it, but I can't wait until, whether it's 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, I can't wait to be at that point to where I can step back and I can go, okay, my money is working for me. I could literally stop working right now, and everything that I've put in place will carry will will carry me through, you know, the rest of my life if I were to so choose.
It's going to be an amazing feeling, and everybody can get there. That's the cool thing. It's like a lot of people don't believe they can because I don't make enough money, or I don't do this, or my family's never done it. I'm like, you could be the first. Like, why
Yeah.
not? Like, what's stopping you? It's all just a math equation. At the end of the day, you guys will get there 100%. Like with the amount you guys are going to be investing now since joining, and then all the debts behind your name, like you don't have to worry about the debt anymore. Obviously, just a mortgage payment at this point, like. That money is going to be so well used, and all it's going to do is compound. I mean, that's all it's going to do. And eventually gets to the point where it's compounded so much that it's literally your paycheck. It's your new paycheck.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and that's one of the things that I'm really actually excited to get into is, because we upfront said, okay, we're going to focus on paying off all the debt. We haven't even started investing yet. And it's like, now I can really start.
Now's the time.
Going back, watching old content from you, looking at I know you like index funds and stuff that pays off dividends, and it's like I want to start setting that up. And it's like we've even talked about this house, one day whenever we move out of it, not even selling it, turning this into a rental property.
Very good idea.
But we've already been, hey buddy, we've already been thinking about that, and being hands off, just hiring a property management company so that it's just a source of income.
Yeah. It's everything's I mean, you can turn this into an asset easily. You have all of your automations rolling. I mean, it's hands off. That's the coolest thing about it, is you're not going to have to do well. And you guys went through that struggle in the beginning of like trying to figure out the budget and like not spend a whole lot of time. And you realize like, hey, we're getting through that initial phase. Eventually gets to the point where it doesn't take any bit but 30 minutes or so. And it's just like a recurring type of meeting, type of heads up almost. And then your investments are rolling, your wills, your trusts are in place, you have your insurances in place. It's just like a matter of living life at that point. And I think that's the cool thing I try to get everyone to, is not overcomplicating this game, because it's not very complicated.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not. The math, the finance part, it's really not that complicated.
Exactly. It's like, guys, I'm not a genius over here, I promise.
Like, why do I keep buying $30 pieces of crap clothing on Amazon? Like that.
It's awareness and intentionality.
Yeah.
But
what do you think, Jackson?
Jackson's like, I'm gonna be a rich trust fund baby.
We would like for your kids to be rich trust fund babies.
But no, I mean, from the beginning, whenever we started, we really kind of questioned if it was going to be best decision. And
sure.
I'm glad we made the decision that we did, because I mean, you're setting us up for the knowledge that you've shared, and that you've essentially taught us through your experiences, not only setting us up for the rest of our life, it's setting Jackson up for his as well. And that's what's like more important to me is not what happens the rest of my life. Because I mean, I'm the type of person where I could work the same job for the next 20 years and be all right with it. 30 years, be all right with it, as long as he's taken care of. That's what's more important to me. I'll put in whatever work's necessary to make sure that he's taken care of. So
I love to hear it, man. That's exactly, I mean, that's what drives me as well. So, and I think, you're the provider of the house, and that's one of those things where it's like, if you feel that extreme sense of accountability and pressure, and like, I think you're on your way. That's the cool thing about it, is like, that's what I always like about the Academy, is it's not like you aren't relying on me ever again. And like, I don't want you guys to be like, I want you guys to have this knowledge now to go save a shit ton of money, and then invest a lot of money, and realize, hey, I don't need to get ripped off by the financial industry charging me 1% every single year on my AUM, on my investment portfolio, or overpaying for these fees. And like, we're going to look at your 401k here shortly. I don't want people to do that. And it's like, you guys are losing hundreds of thousands of dollars going that route by not knowing or relying on a financial professional your whole life, where you have more clarity, you have more education, and more empowerment. and you are going to spend a lot less in the long run as well, like a lot less. And that's what I love about this, man. It's awesome to see you guys winning over there.
Yeah, it's, you know, it it's a really good feeling to know, and it's one of those things that without like trying to sound like this person, whenever I hear friends talking about their financial situation, without trying to be that person who sounds like they've got this, ulterior motive, I'm just kind of like, hey, and I'll I'll send people to, to the website, to your Instagram account, and just be like, hey, give them your YouTube and just say, hey, take a watch on, especially Instagram, because it's short content. Hey, digest some of this stuff and see if you're the person that he's talking about.
Yep.
And
you kind of put that I'm the third party, kind of like you and Jess were talking about earlier, and you just like use me as kind of the scapegoat, which is a good thing, man. Like use it all the time.
yeah,
they'll pick up on it.
Yeah, and I mean, I can tell, whenever people ask me, I'm like, well, and we've told friends, we've told family about this financial course that we're taking, and now that it's done, whenever they hear that, hey, we're in this better financial situation, and I can just, like you said, I'm like, just go check out his account and just start paying attention. Don't even go sign up right now.
Right.
See if it's going to be for you first. Because I mean, dude, I've mentioned it. I followed you for almost 2 years before ever really seriously thinking about,
for sure.
And it's just, I was like, at first it was like, okay, somebody told me to,
that was Ryan, right?
Yeah, it was Ryan.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
And it just, overall we've just had an awesome, awesome experience. I mean, you make things so easily digestible,
Good.
it's nothing's been, I mean, people hear finances, they think hard math and stuff like that,
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I never dove into it, is because I'll be the first to tell you, I didn't do great at math in school. And so any sort of accounting, anything like that, in today's world, I'm like, taxes, accounting, investing,
no thanks.
I've always just thought, like, I'm not smart enough to deal with this. So instead of just even attempting to learn it, I'm just going to pretend like I don't need to.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing. You probably hear Logan screaming in the background right now. She's all good, I promise.
But yeah, I mean, I can't say enough good things about what the program has done for us, and how it's set us up.
I'm so glad to hear that, man. We have, obviously, Tom's been introduced during your time here. Angel's been introduced during your time. One of the things we're really focused on is like experience, and that is like top of mind at all times. So we're like, we are going to be following up with everybody nonstop, making sure they have a good experience, making sure there's no questions. Because a lot of times, man, people just don't ask me the question, and they kind of pin it against me as if like I should know they don't know something. I'm like, guys, I try to promote that idea of like, just ask me questions. Like, none of us bite. We're all here to help. And like, we want to help you, but we don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? So that's always a challenge, especially on an online type of thing where it's like, we'll follow up, we'll ask, hey, do you have any questions? Someone will say no. We have to take it at face value. And it's like,
yeah,
I don't know if you don't know, like, unless you tell me. And sometimes people are more shy. So learning personalities and stuff is really big. And it's like top of mind. Student success is a big thing. We have a whole entire thing within our Slack channel that's like Angel, myself, Tom, and also Heather. We talk, might list the student's name and say, hey, this individual needs help with this, X, Y, and Z. Let's go help them with this. And like, we're really communicative on that, because that's very important to me.
Yeah. And, to your point, in the academy, there's a vulnerability that people aren't used to having to deal with
Mm-hmm.
and having to open up and share about. And um you, you know, you couldn't be in your position and be successful if you were judgmental,
100%.
you know, in the fact that that everybody's so open, everybody's non-judgmental. it it takes a little bit, it took us a few weeks, to kind of be like, okay, look, there's we're not the only ones who have these feelings.
Sure.
And it it takes a little bit to, to kind of get comfortable. But it's like that's one of the best parts about the community that you've built. And uh that it I know it's hard for people to be vulnerable.
It is. It is.
You know,
We encourage it as much as we possibly can, because it's like, guys, of all people, I'm the one teaching this, and I was the one in debt. Like, it's okay. Like, it's not a big deal. It's all about just fixing where your starting point is, and just correcting it from there. And it's amazing to see how many wins we have. Like, man, like I think today alone we had 7 people posting about wins. Like the
yeah,
openness of people, especially recently, because I've been having Tom and Angel talk to people a lot more and more engaged. Is like, it's amazing to see how many people are just like, I mean, absolutely destroying debt, but also just investing a ton of money, like getting things that insurances they never knew they even needed, trust, wills, like, taking care of their taxes, like saving a ton of taxes. Like, I think the other day, somebody realized they were a sole prop and they needed to switch to S corp, and I was like, you just save like $12,000 annually, right? She's like, oh my god, like she was like shaking, like she was so excited, and I was like, little tweaks like that. This stuff isn't taught to us, right? There's no shame in it at all.